The War Council of the Draknor Imperium had reached its decision, and Commander Velrith could barely contain his satisfaction. Earth, an insignificant blue marble spinning in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. Population, 7 billion soft, squishy bipeds who had barely figured out how to escape their own atmosphere. Military capability, laughable. Threat level, approximately 0.001%. This would be easier than the Centauri campaign, and those poor fools had surrendered after witnessing a single dreadnought. Velrith stood before the holographic display aboard his command ship, the Crimson Fong, watching the third planet of an unremarkable yellow star grow steadily larger. Around him, the bridge crew worked with cold efficiency, scaled fingers gliding across control panels that hummed with lethal intent. "Sir, we have confirmed visual on all major population centers," reported Lieutenant Cax, his voice heavy with boredom. "Primitive infrastructure, chemical fuel vehicles, wireless communication networks a hatchling could decrypt. Do we truly need a formal declaration of conquest?" Velrith chuckled, a sound like stone grinding against stone. "Protocol demands it, Lieutenant. Besides, I want to see their faces when they realize what is about to happen." He had studied the reconnaissance reports thoroughly. These humans, as they called themselves, were a species that had spent more time fighting one another than preparing for external threats. Their planet was fractured into hundreds of squabbling territories, each convinced of its own importance. No unified command structure, no planetary shield network, no orbital defense platforms. Nothing. "Open a channel to their primary governing bodies," Velrith ordered, settling into his command throne. "Let us introduce ourselves properly." Moments later, the faces of terrified human leaders filled the surrounding displays. Velrith had to suppress a laugh. They were exactly as pathetic as he had imagined. "Greetings, inhabitants of Earth," he began, his translator rendering his words into their crude languages. "I am Commander Velrith of the Draknor Imperium. Your planet has been selected for immediate annexation. You have one solar rotation to surrender unconditionally, or we will initiate pacification protocols. Any resistance will be met with overwhelming force. This is not a negotiation. This is a courtesy notification." The humans erupted into overlapping voices, panic, confusion, outrage. One of them, an older male with white hair, stepped forward. "You cannot simply invade a sovereign world. We have rights. We have laws. We will defend ourselves." Oh, this was delightful. Defend yourselves? Velrith leaned forward, eyes gleaming. "With what? Your flying metal tubes that barely break the sound barrier? Your explosives that cannot even scratch our shields? Please, by all means, defend yourselves. I could use the entertainment." He cut the transmission before they could respond and turned to his tactical officer. "Deploy the first wave. Target their military installations. Let us demonstrate what real power looks like." The Crimson Fong trembled as fighter squadrons launched from its hull, streaking toward the planet like meteors of destruction. Velrith watched with satisfaction as the bombardment began. Bases bloomed into firestorms. Aircraft were vaporized before takeoff. Warships burned and sank in their harbors. "Sir, we are receiving incoming fire," Cax reported, sounding mildly disappointed. "Projectile weapons. Explosive warheads. None are penetrating our shields." "Of course not. Continue the assault. I want their surrender within 6 hours." Then something unexpected happened. The resistance did not collapse. It intensified. Human soldiers did not flee. They charged. When their weapons failed, they used whatever they could find. Rocks, metal bars, debris. When one fell, 3 more replaced them. When a military position was destroyed, civilians emerged with improvised explosives. "Sir, we are experiencing higher than expected casualties in Sector 7. Another officer reported, confusion creeping into his voice. "The humans are employing unconventional tactics. Urban concealment. Ambushes. They refuse to engage in standard formations." Velrith frowned. "Increase firepower in that sector. Show them the cost of defiance." Orbital bombardment intensified, but something was wrong. By now, any rational species would have surrendered. The humans did not. They adapted. Commander, we have lost contact with Ground Team 12, Cax said, boredom replaced by unease. Last transmission indicates an ambush within an underground tunnel network. The humans collapsed the entrance, trapping our forces. What? Velrith snapped. How did they know our deployment coordinates? Unknown, sir. But similar tactics are appearing across multiple engagement zones. They are observing our patterns, identifying our weaknesses. Velrith rose from his throne, confidence faltering for the first time. They are primitives. They should not be capable of this level of coordination. Sir, incoming transmission from human leadership. They request communication. Put them through. The same white-haired human appeared. Only this time, he was not afraid. He was smiling. Commander Velrith, thank you for the warning. We have had nearly 24 hours to prepare. Would you like to know what humanity does best? Velrith remained silent. The human smile widened. We adapt. We survive. And we never, ever give up. See you on the ground. The transmission ended, and Commander Velrith felt something he had not experienced in decades. Fear. Commander Velrith had conquered 47 worlds in his military career. 47 different species had knelt before the might of the Draknor Imperium. Every single one had followed the same pattern. Shock, resistance, defeat, surrender. Earth was not following the pattern. Sir, Ground Team 19 is reporting complete communication blackout in the region they call Australia, Lieutenant Cax announced, his scales turning a pale shade that indicated stress. Last thermal scans showed human forces numbering in the thousands, converging from all directions. They're using some kind of reflective material to confuse our targeting systems. Velrith slammed his fist on the command console. 3 days. 3 days since the invasion began, and instead of a conquered planet, he had a nightmare. His ground forces were scattered across 6 continents, facing an enemy that refused to fight like any civilized species should. How many troops have we lost? He asked, though he dreaded the answer. Confirmed casualties are at 18%, sir. Another 12% are missing in action, presumed captured or dead. 30%. 30% of his invasion force, crippled by a species that had not even achieved interstellar travel. Sir, you need to see this. Cax transferred a recording to the main display. It showed a small human settlement, maybe 200 individuals. His troops had surrounded it completely, weapons ready. Standard pacification scenario. But when his soldiers demanded surrender, the humans did not comply. Instead, they attacked with farming equipment, kitchen utensils, their bare hands. The Draknor troops, confused by such irrational behavior, hesitated. That hesitation cost them everything. The humans overwhelmed them through sheer numbers and ferocity, capturing weapons and turning them against the remaining soldiers. They are insane, Velrith whispered. Every single one of them is completely insane. Sir, incoming message from the surface. It is from one of our captured officers. The screen flickered, showing Captain Morth, one of Velrith's best tactical commanders. He was bound to a chair in what looked like a concrete room. Standing behind him was a human female, young, with dark hair and cold eyes. Hello, Commander, she said, her voice eerily calm. My name is Rebecca Torres. I am a high school teacher from a place called Nevada. Do you know what I teach? Velrith said nothing, his blood running cold. History, she continued. Specifically, the history of human warfare. Would you like a lesson? Free of charge. She walked around Morth, trailing her fingers across his shoulder. He flinched. Humans have been fighting each other for our entire existence. We have perfected thousands of ways to kill, to survive, to win against impossible odds. We fought with sticks and stones, then bronze and iron, then gunpowder and steel, then atomic fire and digital warfare. We have never stopped fighting. Not for one single generation. She leaned down, looking directly into the camera. You made a mistake, Commander. You assumed that because we fight each other, we would be easy to conquer. But you got backwards. We fight each other because we are good at it, because we love it, because violence is written into our DNA like a second language. And now, finally, we have something we can all agree on. She smiled. You. The screen went black. Velrith shifted in his command throne. For the first time, it felt too small. "Sir, multiple human aircraft approaching our position," announced the sensor officer. "Wait, correction. They are not aircraft. They are missiles. Hundreds of them. Nuclear warheads. Shields up. Point defense systems, engage." The Crimson Fong rocked as the first wave hit. The shields held, but barely. More missiles followed, wave after wave, each one coordinated to strike at slightly different angles and timings. The humans were testing his defenses and finding weaknesses. Shield integrity at 60%. 50. "We need to gain altitude." "Do it. Get us out of range." But as the ship began to climb, something else happened. Ground-based weapons, railguns, opened fire. Solid projectiles moving at hypersonic speeds slammed into the underside of his vessel. The humans had built them in just 3 days, using captured technology and their own terrifying ingenuity. Hull breach on decks 4 and 5. Fire suppression systems activated. Velrith made his decision. Recall all ground forces. Prepare for full orbital withdrawal. "Sir, we cannot just leave. The Imperium will see this as cowardice. The Imperium can come here themselves if they want this cursed planet." Velrith roared. "Send a retreat signal. Now." As his surviving troops scrambled back to their dropships, Velrith looked down at Earth. Fires burned across its surface. Cities lay in ruins. Millions were dead, but the humans were still fighting, still adapting, still surviving. "Sir," the communications officer said quietly, "we are receiving a final transmission from Earth. Audio only. Play it." A male voice filled the bridge, rough, exhausted, but victorious. "Commander Velrith, this is Colonel James Mitchell, United States Marine Corps. On behalf of planet Earth, here's a message for you and your empire." A pause. "Tell everyone out there exactly what happened here. Tell them what humans are. Tell them we didn't ask for this fight, but we finished it. Tell them Earth is not for sale, not for rent, and sure as hell not for conquest." Another pause. The sound of weapons being loaded. "And if anyone else wants to try their luck?" Silence. "We'll be waiting." The transmission ended. Velrith stared at the planet as his ship limped into the darkness of space. He would write his report. He would tell the Imperium everything. But one truth would haunt him forever. They had not invaded a primitive world. They had poked a sleeping predator. And humanity was now awake. If this story entertained or taught you something, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow and bring you more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next story.